I have to be fully honest with you. When I got Baldur's Gate 3 for the first time, I really did not expect a lot from it. I expected just to be like Divinity Original Sin 2, but maybe a little bit better. But boy, I was wrong. This game is an absolute masterpiece. And for me personally, I think I'm gonna prefer this over Starfield any day of the week. So if you're interested in whether it is worth it to buy this game right now or not, on release, or even in early access, yes, this game is absolutely worth it. It's worth every single penny, and you are not gonna regret getting this game. But there is some things that you need to understand first, so let's get into the details. So what is Baldur's Gate 3? Baldur's Gate 3 is a CRPG made by Larian Studios, the same people that made Divinity Original Sin series. And if you have watched some of the trailers, if you have watched some of the gameplay, you will feel like this game is practically exactly the same as Divinity Original Sin 2. And you kind of won't be wrong. This game is very, very similar, at least in a gameplay wise. You have same party system, you have same turn-based combat, and it's very, very similar. But where the game actually differentiates from Divinity Original Sin is in its story, or rather how the story is presented. Don't get me wrong, Divinity series had an amazing story. Story was interesting, quests were fun, characters were amazing, but what it lacked is in its presentation. You were mainly looking top-down at the characters, and these impactful and, well, this sensational moments did not have any, well, impact. Here, it's completely different. Baldur's Gate 3 is actually using dialogue system very similar to Mass Effect series, which have practically perfected this cinematic dialogue. And you can see it here as well. You can start engaging in conversation with every single character, everyone. If you see anyone, you can engage in conversation with them, unless they will start attacking you first. And there's probably a very strong part of the game that will make it probably better than Starfield, its direct competitor in its release window. Why? Because all the characters are incredibly fleshed out and very well written. You can feel like these characters are the part of this world. They have their own worries, they have their own needs and wants, and they are acting on those. Every single character. And where the game starts to truly shine is in its quest system. You see, the questing in this game is not straightforward. You are given a vague goal to complete, and all you need to do is just, well, go towards completing this goal in one way, or just go and do something completely opposite. In any way, you will achieve what you want. Well, like, for example, in one of the earliest quests, by the way, no major spoilers here, I'm gonna just give you very, very minor ones. You have a small, kind of like a town that is getting attacked by goblins. And then when you get there, you discover that this town is full of refugees, and they cannot run away from this town because they will be slaughtered outside of the town, and they cannot stay because the, well, owners of the town are going to sever the connection from everyone around the world, basically keeping them isolated forever. And it doesn't really seem obvious what you need to do there, and, well, because it isn't, because you have multiple different ways to do that. You can actually convince these refugees to leave the town and basically dooming them for the slaughter, or you can just work towards isolating this town even more, or you can just go towards the goblins and slaughter them all, or you can just go and kill this goblin leadership in order to, well, these goblins to dissipate. And each and every task of this have also multiple different ways of completing this. So you can go and do these missions by guns blazing and killing the most of everyone around you, or just try to minimize all the casualties on every side. In any way, this game gives you so much variety in every single small quest that no two playthroughs will be identical, and which also gives you much more replayability of the same quests. And it's not just the different ways to approach a quest, it's the quests themselves that are different and amazing. There are no simple quests of just go and fetch some 5 grasses and bring me here. Every single quest has quite a deep meaning and reason to do so. And the reason to do them, they're not as something as simple as go fetch quests or kill X amount of individuals in some place. Like in another quest, you are meeting a paladins that have slaughtered a bunch of different, well, werewolves, kind of like werewolves. They're called gnolls in this game. And you are told by these paladins that these gnolls were controlled by a demon, a devil, and they ask you to kill this demon. And when you find this demon, you will find her injured, and she will tell you that those paladins are actually not real paladins, they're actually demons sent to get her back to hell. And now your goal is to decide what you need to do. You can just go and kill the demon, or just go and slaughter the paladins that might or might not be actually demons. And this type of depth and this type of different things that you can do is existent in every single quest, which is insane. In addition to all this, you also have a bunch of different side things to do in order to help you to accomplish different tasks in different ways. Like, for example, if you find someone dead, if you have a certain skills, you can actually revive this dead for a while, ask them some questions, and get some vital information that will help you to complete the quest in the future. The quest that you might not even have picked up yet. And such small things makes it simply fantastic. But there is one thing that I liked but will not be liked by many people. And it is, well, RNG. You see, many things, many dialogue options are hidden behind, well, dice roll, because yeah, it's D&D game after all. And dice rolls are done like that. For example, if you want to use a persuasion skill or intimidation skill or maybe a magical skill or something like that in your conversations, you are rolling a dice. And you have certain points that you need to get. It can be something from 0 to 20. And if you will roll the number that is higher than, well, skill check, basically the skill check number, well, you will succeed. If it will be lower, then you will fail at this skill check. And you will not be able to use that option. And based on what skills that you have, you might be proficient in intimidation or persuasion, or if it's some kind of magical skill check, if you are a magical character, it will be even better. If it's a strength skill check, if you are a strong character and maybe non-magical character, you might have some additional points there. And many such skill checks are actually happening on a background. For example, an observation skill check. Like for example, when you're moving through the world, sometimes if something is hidden in there, this observation skill check will roll. And if all of your party members will fail, then you will not be able to see this special thing that is happening around you. But if it will succeed, you might find out some very interesting things. Some like for example, buried treasure or some clues or things like that. And many people will not be enjoying that. And the same RNG goes in a combat as well. Because this RNG also affects whether you will hit or miss your target. And it affects also your enemies as well. Like for example, you can miss in a point blank range, and usually this is not as often. And you might actually get a bullseye on a very edge of your, well, range. This outrageous hits and misses are not very often, but actually can turn the tide of battles on your side or against you. And there are also a lot of skill checks and a lot of dialogue skill checks happening in the battle as well. For example, you can get in a fight with the pack leader of Knowles, and you can actually convince her to go against your pack if your skills are high enough. And then you can convince her to out herself if you can do that. Overall, I like this skill check system, but most people will not, because many people prefer a more straightforward thing to do. Like most straightforward combat and straightforward conversations and dialogue system. And this is probably one of the biggest downsides of the game. Well, it's rather not a downside, but a feature that many modern gamers will simply not enjoy. It was the same with XCOM, it was the same with Divinity Original Sin, and yeah, many people did not like this. Well, I did, and if you don't mind that, and if you prefer it, a little bit of hand of chance in your gameplay, well, you're gonna love it. And trust me, when I was playing this, it never felt unfair. It always felt like quite fair, and most of the skill checks I was able to complete with ease. It was pretty rare for me to not be able to complete the skill check, because usually I was very careful where to choose those skill checks and to play with my strength rather than with my weaknesses. And I'm not even telling you with the depth of the lore of this game, like amount of characters, like amount of classes and amount of backstories and amount of races that you can choose in this game. I did not even talk about your companions and how deep and how well written they are, how they're interacting with each other. I did not even talk about the camping system where you can actually get a long rest and refill all your skills and all your hit points and everything, and how the different encounters are happening even in this camp. Game has a romance system, game has a companion interaction and companion loyalty system, and it's insanely deep. The amount of things that this game crams into this tiny package, and the amount of density of every single point in the map, amount of things that are crammed in this single place is, well, second to none. And I was shocked how many things that you can do in this game. And because of Baldur's Gate 3 and Age of Wonders 4, this game has been the great game for true fantasy lovers, because we got an amazing strategy game and now we're getting an amazing RPG. And weirdly enough, for me, the Baldur's Gate 3 story-wise is better than Skyrim, is better than Witcher, and is better than any other RPG that came out in the last 10 years. At least that was for me. And yes, if you decide to buy this game is worth every single penny. And prepare to lose at least 100 to 200 hours in this game, because this game is massive. Well, I guess that's it for today. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.